Hi, okay, I'm Rima and I'm going to talk to you today about failure and why you might be scared of failing. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that if you are scared of failing, it's usually wrapped up in your own sense of vanity. That is, you don't want others to see you failing. You don't want others to see that you have to try and that you have to struggle and that you have tears and that you have to overcome things just like the rest of us. Another reason why you might fear failure is because you don't actually want to face yourself and face your own weaknesses, face your own inabilities, because that is the beauty of failure. Failure is so real that it puts it in your face when friends and family and loved ones are telling you, oh no, you're really great. Then failure tells you, no, you're not. You got to get it right. You got to try again. You've got to work harder. You've got to dig in there. This is what failure does. So fundamentally, when we're scared of failure, we are scared of trying. We're scared of making that effort. We're scared of exposing our weaknesses to others sometimes and to ourselves oftentimes. Because it's easier to avoid a situation and not fail, where you don't get any lessons, where you don't improve, where your life does become static, but you're comfortable, aren't you? You're comfortable. When you don't fail, that means you're not trying, and it means you're in a pretty comfortable position. So that is going to be a weakness, and that is going to weaken you eventually. On the basis of failure is to provide you with strength. The basis of failure is to enable you to grow. The basis of failure is to enable you to learn. Those are the key essential things that is wrapped up in that parcel called failure. When failure is delivered to you, receive it like a gift, because trust me, there's usually more lessons, more knowledge, more beauty in learning from your failure than what you can ever get from winning. And before I even tell you a little story about failure, when you win without failure, there's been no growth in there. It's just luck. It's just fortune, or it's just a blessing that God has given you. You know, you get up and you put on a microphone and you sing and you sound wonderful. That's great, but that's nothing from you. That is a gift from God. So you can appreciate that gift, but your knowledge about who you are and your own personal power comes in your ability not only to fail, but to fail again and 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 again, and keep doing it over again and again and again and again until you're able to succeed, or until you identify that there should be another way and another course for you. But my concern is the fact that if you actually fear failure, it's likely you're not that crazy about winning, because the two things go hand in hand, and there is no real winner on this planet. There's no real winner that we will celebrate, that we will honor, who has not gone through the process of failing publicly and privately. And they're the two failures that we're usually scared of. Now, there's an Olympic runner, just to give you a quick story. There was an Olympic runner, and this guy's name was Derek Redmond. And he ran an Olympic race. I don't know how many hundreds of meters he was, but he was set to be one of the champions of that race. During the course of the race, his hamstring, the back of his leg, snapped, and it made him collapse to the ground. So obviously the process of getting up and having that injury, there was no way he could finish his race. That was an outright failure. But what he did set his name on record, his father's name on record, to such an extent that nobody actually remembers the name of the winner of that race. But we can all remember, and I want you to check out the story of Derek Redmond, because as a loser and as a failure, he taught us all a beautiful lesson. When he collapsed on the floor, his father ran out he got up and he started to hop towards the finish line. He was in tears, he was flooded in tears, and he was literally crying like a baby, because you can imagine months of hard work to just have your body fail you in this way was too much for him. And you know, people would also probably be saying, yeah, he saw he wasn't going to win, so he made up this injury. There'd be all those little shady remarks that would probably be thrown at him that he would be aware of. So anyway, he got up and he hobbled towards the finish line, and then his father ran down on the track, seeing his son crying, broken in tears. He ran down to help him. Now his father is always also his coach. And I recommend and I amend or worship or give recognition to a father who teaches a son that it isn't all about winning. So what they did is that he ran down onto the track, put his son's arm around him, and together his son hopped to the finish line with his father's support. They got the biggest applaud, and that that clapping vibrated throughout the universe to touch people like myself, and now to be touching you, to tell you that the beauty in anything that you do is not in the winning. The winning is lovely, but it's the attitude that you have in the game. How many times are you prepared to fail? How much are you prepared to go on? How much dignity, like Derek Redmond showed us. He showed, and his father, they showed us so much dignity, so much strength, so much personal power and wisdom in knowing that he could have sat down there and let the ambulances come in and whips him off and do all that. But no, his message that he taught us was to keep on. It's not about how you look when you finish. It's not about coming in shining and all glorious. It's just about not being a talker, not being talking the talk and never walking the walk. Somebody who walks a walk don't care if they're coming at the finish line, because they know they gave their best and they did their best. And this is what the world wants from you who are scared of failing. The world wants you to be your best and to give your best and to get rid of that vanity. You know, the vanity that says, oh, I don't want others to see me failing. I don't want to look bad in front of others, blah, blah, blah. That is keeping you down. Then the vanity, which is even worse, of not wanting to see yourself. Oh, I'm weak at that. Oh, I can't get through. It's such a struggle. You know, it's all of these things is your failure. That is the point of your failure. It's not the fact that you've tried something and you're failing. No. What is really failing you is your inability to try at all, or to just make a feeble attempt and then give up on it. That is what is failing. And then you don't need to be afraid of that, because that's already in you. That's already in your DNA. So you don't need to be scared of that. What you need to do now is start fighting that fear of failure. And I'm going to tell you quickly how you do it, okay? The way that you overcome your fear of failure is to recognize the power that comes with failure. Within failure, you learn. That's the first thing. Like a child, he falls down, he's walking, he drops, he gets up, he learns, okay, if I lean that way or do it that way, I'm going to fall. So there's so much great learning that comes in your failure. Okay? There's also so much growth. Because when we learn, we start to grow. We try, we experiment, we do different things, we do it in different way. So that's another great reason why we should appreciate failure. And then the other thing is that it also strengthens our inner being, our inner mind, our sense of confidence. If you have never failed, you've got nothing to be confident on. But when you've failed 100 times, you know 100 times that that doesn't work. So you're confident at least that that doesn't work and can't work for you. Failure builds confidence, it builds growth, and it is the ideal scenario for you to learn. And if you don't allow failure to come into your life is going to be static, you are going to plateau, and then you're eventually going to start going backwards and deteriorating or never achieving the thing that you want to actually achieve. So the key point that I want to get across to you today is that failure is a must. Failure is essential. failure is something that we need to plan in and fashion in to anything that we're doing. What if that doesn't work? What's going to be our next strategy? And if the next strategy doesn't work, what is going to be the next thing? We don't have a strategy to say, well, if it doesn't work, I give up. I give up. Because that is where you've really failed yourself and you've failed mankind. Because remember, you are here, your lessons, just like Derek Redmond's lessons, your lessons are for the rest of us. They're there for your children who are watching you, your grandchildren, your siblings, your co-workers. Everybody is not watching you win. Yeah, they'll give you a pat on the back when you win, but we're more excited about it, and we're more excited to see the dignity. Excuse me, this is a bad morning. My words are all jumping over my tongue. We are excited to see the dignity, the character, the perseverance, the stability of mind of one who's prepared to fail over and over and over again until that they recognize that they've given it 100% and they're satisfied with the result. Whether like Derek, you came in last hobbling, or like somebody like Serena Williams, who comes in first place nearly every time. Trust me, she's gone through her failures and her heartbreaks as well. Okay, so let's learn to embrace failure, love failure, look forward to it. Come on, bring it on. Let me fail, let me collapse, let me give in, let me feel weak. Then I can know myself and have the platform for true strength. Okay.